Reduce, reuse, recycle. You've heard it before, and now you're hearing it here. And what does that have to do with content creation, marketing strategy, social media? Well, that's what we're going to dive in today. We're going to talk about reducing your time creating fresh content. We're going to reuse content that you've already made on the same platform, and then we're going to recycle it on other platforms. Curious? Let's dive in. Hey, I'm Angela Doyon, and this is the Creative Marketing Show, the podcast for ambitious women in business looking to cut the BS, stop dancing for likes, and learn to create honest and genuine marketing strategies that don't cause burnout and overwhelm. Think of me as one of your friends that's here to support you and cheer you on while keeping you up to date with all the latest marketing trends and inspired actions you can start to implement into your business. Let's dive into a new episode. All right, let's talk about how we can be more efficient with our time and not always reinventing the wheel. I can assure you, if you're tuning in here, you're a business owner, you've probably been showing up on Instagram or other social media platforms, you have content that you've already created. And what is really frustrating with something like Instagram, although a wonderful, wonderful tool, what I see happening a lot is we put it out there and we wait and see how it does, and then we constantly go to the next piece of content, and we're exhausted because we feel like we have to keep showing up and showing up and showing up in order to make sure that the algorithm's working in our favor, that we're getting our engagement up. It's exhausting. So a great strategy that I have found really helpful, and it really decreases that overwhelm and burnout, is the opportunity to repurpose content that you've already created. And even if it didn't perform as well, we can't just, measure our results on one post or one reel, because there are so many factors that are outside of our control. And so it's really difficult to actually measure. This is why it's important to try the same strategy over and over again. We just have to make those little edits to the content that we've already created. And that's going to provide us with more insight as to what is actually converting or measuring well. For example, if you shared a post and you felt like it flopped, well, then maybe it was just the time of day. Maybe there weren't clear call to actions. Maybe the hashtags with it weren't really relevant, or there weren't enough keywords. Let's try that again. Don't just give up on that content, because I've heard it before. It's frustrating when you put something together and you think this is really valuable, and then it flops, that's how we measure it, as a flop. But let's not get discouraged. So I'm going to walk through some of my suggestions to reuse, repurpose, recycle, however you want to spin it, so that you're saving time and giving your great content another shot. It's also okay to be repetitive. I know that can sometimes be a worry or a concern that my audience has already heard this. Well, not everybody is seeing your content, and it's absolutely okay to be repetitive. It's your offer. It's your value. You want to make sure that you're consistently sharing that. So let's dive we'll start with Instagram. This is a strategy I want you to try. Go back to your Instagram and look at your insights at a previous post that you have shared that performed well. If you are a business or creator account, you can go through and review your insights. Now, I don't want you to be looking at likes or comments. That's fine. I want you to look at content you've shared that has received a lot of shares, saves, website visits, profile visits. Those are the ones that I personally like to look at, because they are really indicators that there is value there. So if someone is saving your content, that's telling you, okay, they want to come back to this later. They want to hang on to this. If they're sharing it, maybe they knew someone that it would be helpful for. And of course, if they are doing a website tap, that's a really great indicator that they're interested in learning more about you. So those are the types of measurabilities that I like to look at. You can look back at your content from the last 30 days, 3 months, 6 months, or the whole year. So make that as part of your practice, and then try to find some of your top performing posts. So let's say they were just static posts and they did really well. What I want you to do is repurpose that as a different format. So maybe taking a post and creating it as a reel, maybe expanding on your post and creating it as a carousel. But even more, because I'm not all about just Instagram, we want to talk about marketing strategies. Where else can you repurpose this information? For example, taking a top performing post and using that topic or subject matter in your email marketing newsletter. I hear it all the time that people don't know what to post every week or bi-weekly, however your frequency is for your email marketing. Sometimes we really feel like, oh, well, I shared that on Instagram, so they must have seen it over there. I'm telling you, they probably didn't. And even if they did, what more can you offer, especially for people on your email list? Can you expand a little bit more? Can you include a story that goes with it? So not only on email marketing, perhaps you want to include more of a blog post on your website. If that's been something on your to-do list, blogs are still great because they incorporate keywords, which are fantastic for search engine optimization to drive more traffic to your website. Again, I know we utilize Instagram, but it is a tool. Our ultimate end goal that I want you to really focus on is how can you build that email list? How can you get more website visits to your website so people are actually looking at your products, they're looking at your services and your offerings and adding to cart or booking that session with you. Another opportunity to repurpose that content is using it on different platforms. I don't like to really suggest that you're trying to be everywhere all at once, with Pinterest, LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook, all of that. I really do like to focus on one main social media account, but there is something to be said about being omnipresent. And this is a great opportunity, instead of trying to be fresh on all of these social platforms, repurpose to how it fits into those specific platforms and just start to get a habit of that going once a month. So if you want to make a secondary social media account like Facebook, repurpose what's working on Instagram and start using it over on Facebook or on Pinterest. Or if it's a video content like Reels, why not repurpose that as a YouTube short or even an idea pin on Pinterest? These are other ways that you can maximize that content across multiple channels. Maybe you feel like you're in a really good flow with Instagram, you've been consistent, you're getting great traffic. This might be a time to start adding in an additional social media account. But instead of trying to come up with fresh content for it, go back and utilize what has already been working and repurpose it there. Personally, this is one of my favorite strategies. I do it with this podcast as well. You've probably heard in previous episodes, some of the conversations that I bring here are ones that I've had inside my private membership community, because I know if they're having these issues or if they have these questions, that you probably will too. So it makes it easier to streamline the content and education that I can bring across multiple channels, and I know that you can do it as well. I hope that you found this episode helpful. Let me know in the DMs at angela.s.doyon what you think of the show, or you can leave your rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Much appreciated. Or if you need more support in your business, you have questions every week, you might want to consider joining the Creative Marketing Membership. That is my private membership community. We meet once a month on Zoom in the flesh to go over any questions and new topics that are trending, new marketing strategies, and I like to keep everybody in the loop. There is also a weekly Q&A thread inside the private Facebook group, so support throughout the week. And of course, the monthly roadmap, all the templates, lots of resources, including monthly bonuses on a whole whackload of topics. So if you'd like to join, you can head over to angelasdoyon.com and you'll find Creative Marketing Membership. Thank you again for tuning in, and I'll be back next week with a new episode.